Welcome once again to the Caribbean Junior Culinary Conference. This conference is held in Barbados annually and brings together all of our aspiring young chefs from across the Caribbean. This event includes workshops and seminars designed specifically for our young culinarians. There is also the Caribbean Junior Dueling Challenge, which forms part of this great conference for our youth. Good morning, everyone. All right, so a warm welcome from Barbados, and of course from us here at Caribbean Cuisine and the Junior Dueling Challenge. So welcome to the Junior Culinary Conference. This is the third year of this event, but of course it started out 11 years ago with some really good friends and some really good supporters, some of which you're going to see here today as well, as just a competition in Barbados. We did a schools competition in Barbados. This is just a little bit of history of what happens here. And after being affiliated with the Cjcc, Caribbean Media Corporation, and the program started to air overseas, we started getting calls from all over the Caribbean. So don't you think our children can cook as well? Why are we not involved in that? So 3 years after it started, it evolved into a Caribbean event. So then it was a Caribbean Junior Dueling Challenge. Now, I travel a lot to lots of conferences all over the world, and I thought, you know what? I talked to the guys who are here with me, because it's not me alone. I have a big team here that helps to bring it together every year. And we decided, you know what? We have to turn this now. We have to evolve some more and move it from just a competition into a conference. And 3 years ago, that's what happened. We had our first Junior Culinary Conference. This is the only conference of its kind anywhere in the Caribbean. This is a conference where you hear about conferences all the time. There's always some sort of conference going on about everything in the world. But there's never a conference that would be aimed at you, young culinarians. This is it. The only one in the Caribbean, designed for you, young people who want to be in the culinary industry. So what we did is using my travel, all my friends from overseas and all of the big chefs, we call them big chefs all over the place. We bring them into Barbados just to do demonstrations and workshops so that you can benefit. So here it is now, all of our Caribbean people can assemble here in Barbados and get the benefit of all of our guests that come in to do workshops and demonstrations. We also have as our major sponsor the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union. And Ms. Stately Motley is here, and she can tell you all about how you invest your money after these guys show you how to make it, right? So we're going to teach you how to make it, how to go there, be good at what you do, and then also how to invest. And believe me, from experience again, I can tell you, that is so very important. And it is something that we tend not to pay a lot of attention to. We always see people like accountants and banks and things like that as a evil in the industry. I saw them as that as well too, right? But I get to learn after that is a necessary evil, because my first period going around the business, I lost everything. And it's because, yes, I learned to cook well, I had all this food going great, the restaurant was perfect, but I didn't know to take care of the money that was being made. And I ended up flat on the ground because of that. So it is so important to hear from people like Ms. Motley and the credit union, how to invest and how to take care of what you make after you make it. So I think that is also very, very important. What we started with here earlier is a little recap of what happened last year. And we've been showing this over and over so that you understand what it is here. This is going to be a lot of fun. It's supposed to be a lot of fun. It's supposed to be a lot of learning, but it's learning in a fun situation, and you are involved in everything. I also want to bear in mind that this is a television show that goes all over the Caribbean and into North America and certain parts of Canada. So it's all going to be recorded for television. And so it is theater too at the end of the day. So you're learning another part, not only cooking and marketing and how to control your money, but you're learning all about cinema and TV. Because when you're up here cooking, and even when you're in the audience cheering, it's all part of the show. So we want to see all the flair and all the drama that goes on in the kitchen. They want to see all the excitement. That's what we want to see from you, because it must be all part of this one big show. And it has become very, very popular all over the Caribbean. Everywhere you go in the Caribbean, people talk about this program. So you are the next stars of the program, the stars for the next year of this program. Okay? So again, lots of really good prizes are at stake here. And most of all, those bargaining rights that go with being the champion of the Caribbean. Marketing executive Graham Greenidge, a longtime supporter of the Caribbean Junior Culinary Conference, had some words of encouragement for the producers of the program as well as the participants.
My name is Graham Greenidge. I got involved with Peter probably about 5 or 6 years ago as a sponsor, and I really believe in this program. I think it's probably the most unrecognized assets that Barbados has, and I'm committed, as Peter has asked me, I'm committed to working with him to try to see how we can get it to the next level. I don't think a lot of the industry players, especially not just the food service, but the hotel sector, I don't think they fully understand what Peter and his full team are doing here. The names and the individuals that you're going to get to meet and are going to be presenting to you, there are people away that pay a lot of money to go to conferences to get that experience. And you know, sometimes until people pay money, they don't necessarily value it. This is something that I want you all to value. This is an opportunity that not many get. For me, I think in marketing, this is one thing I did not recognize early in my career. Meet people and don't lose touch with them, because you don't know where they're going to go, and you don't know when you're going to need their help at some point in time. You know, not necessarily everybody that's in here wants to be a chef. It may be the main goal, but not necessarily. I've talked to some kids that they like cooking, they don't necessarily have the ambition to be a chef, but they enjoy the arts. So I did a kind of search on the internet. You know, what are the top jobs for foodies? Food stylist, food educator, food entrepreneur, food buyer, food writer, blogger, small farmer. Now this is the one I loved, molecular gastronomist. I'm going to go into that a little bit detail because I love new things, and that one was, I couldn't figure out what. I had to do a little more research on that one. Research chef, nutritionist, and executive chef. And I was expecting to see the executive chef, and a lot of those were kind of what I would expect to see.
Our next presenter was the marketing executive of the Barbados Public Workers Cooperative Credit Union Limited, Miss Cjcc Motley, and she spoke about the path to financial success.
So it's a pleasure to be here. You heard my name is Cjcc Motley. I'm from the Barbados Public Workers Credit Union, and I've been in the credit union movement for just about 13 years. I want to encourage you to start to dream. Find something to be passionate about and pursue it. When you're passionate about what you're going to pursue, your options are wide and you pursue them with commitment and dedication, and that's what you need. Being financially disciplined will help you achieve financial success, and I'm sure Chef Edie will again repeat that he had to undertake some discipline to achieve the success that he has achieved today. So again, as I said before, I've seen a lot of poor decisions in my job, and my mission, therefore, is to really help people prevent some of those going forward. As young people, you're at the right stage to really change your decision and change your patterns. So as a credit union, you may wonder why, because many of the other sponsors you see here may be specific to, well, of course, we have Roberts, another sponsor that we're accustomed to seeing for quite a bit. And they're very focused. There's a clear correlation between what Roberts does and what Chef Edie is doing here. So what is it with the credit union? Like I said, it's an investment for us. We see that our success is each individual member's success. And that's why we have decided and continue to partner with Chef Edie on this project.
Our next presentation was our feature address by Mrs. Michelle Smith-Mears, and she spoke on youth, culinary arts, and tourism. She is also the person who is responsible for the Barbados team going to the conference in Taste of the Caribbean, whether it's in Miami, Jamaica, or Puerto Rico. She was behind it every time. So why it is important for her to be here is because I'm sure, well, you're going to be in competition now. So competition, I'm sure, will become your lives. Some of you, competition will become your lives. The knowledge that she has gained and the experience that she has gained in doing this, it might even be more than the knowledge and information that I have because of the years and the position she has been taking in this for the longest time. She also deals with all of the hotels on the island. So this is a good link here. Not only is she dealing with the food and chefs and doing all the training and getting them ready for competition, and again, finding the finance to get them to competition, which is not an easy task to take that full team to any competition, but she also deals with the hotels as well. So that is where I'm sure a lot of you will end up. So I don't think there's a better person to speak to you today. And exactly what she's speaking on, you never know. When she comes up here, believe me, whatever she says, though, is going to be very important for you. So let's welcome Mrs. Michelle Smith-Mears to the stage.
Morning, everyone. Everybody looks so sullen and bored. Are you bored? No? Oh, and I thought that this morning you had quite a lot of information. Perhaps one of the most pertinent being what you just heard from Stacey Motley and that whole idea of managing your money and delaying gratification. And it reminded me of my daughter. I wanted to tell you a little bit more. It's not on my script at all. But my 5-year-old, when we were planning to go to Disney, she decided she was going to start a lemonade stand. She saw it on television. And I had no intention of sitting with her by the side of the road with no lemonade stand. So we decided that she was going to pair with her cousin, who at that time was 7. And they would sell lemonade in my sister's salon to raise money, their money, to take to Disney. And they decided that was fine. They wanted to have a glass of lemonade for $1 and free popcorn. Well, obviously, I had to make everything because they weren't making anything. But at the end of the summer, when we were ready to go to Disney, they each had $75. And they raised that through selling lemonade and giving away free popcorn to all of my sister's clients. And I'm sure that sometimes people give them $5 or whatever, because they can't see in that short space of time at selling $1 for lemonade that they made all that money. But nevertheless, they had their own money. And I remember as we went along in Disney, she would spend her own money. She would never say, "Mommy, can you buy this?" She would ask me for her purse. We were at SeaWorld. And she said, she saw this dolphin. It was like almost the end of it. She didn't have a whole lot of money left. And she said, "Mommy, I really need this dolphin. Listen, he wants to come home with me." And she squeezed it, and the dolphin did get these dolphin noises. So I said, "Well, how much is it?" She said, $19.99. So I looked in her purse. I said, "Well, you have $25 left. So what are you going to do?" She said, "So $19.99 is," I said, "Well, that's $20. You will have $5 left." And she looked at it and she said, "I'm not spending my $20 on no dolphin." And she dropped it and she left. And she was 5 years old at that time. And that's money management. And I made sure that she knows how to manage her money. We're getting ready to go away. She will have her own money and she will manage it. And in life, that I find that as an individual or business owner, that is really what success is all about, being able to manage money, not only for you to manage money to buy other things, but really to manage money to be able to meet the commitments that you have as well. And not to live beyond your means, but try to enjoy some of that money that you're working so hard for every now and then. And that might mean not buying everything that you see, or a new outfit for every event you go to, or a new pair of shoes. You know, sometimes you need to just put some polish on those shoes and go. But that is what life is all about, being able to enjoy the fruits of your labor, but doing so responsibly. I want to thank Peter for giving me the opportunity of addressing you this morning. I have been ill for a while, but you don't say no to Peter Eady when he calls. I don't say no to Peter Eady. So this is my first week back out, and I have to make time for him. I have known Peter Eady for over 12 years now. And I'll tell you why a little bit later on. But over the years, the thing that I like most about him, generally over the years, he's been one of the most giving, straightforward, tenacious, and ambitious people I have ever had the pleasure of knowing. One of my favorite things about Peter, and there are many, is that you usually know where he's coming from. He doesn't normally have any hidden agendas. What you see is what you get. Another is how big his heart is, how much he cares about helping other people to succeed, and how hard he works at that, and how committed he is to any cause that he gets involved in. He's one of the most philanthropic people that I know, and I admire his drive and commitment, even against the odds. Something that I've heard him say very often up to last week when he called me at home, and he was talking about this. He said, "You know what? I will get it done." And he does. Time and time again, he gets it done. And we're all here because he got it done yet again. One of the first careers I ever considered was that of being a chef. And I remember, yes, Peter, I did consider being a chef. And I remember my guidance counselor at secondary school giving me a brochure for the Culinary Institute of America, which conveniently was in New York, where my aunt lived. So I would be able to attend school and stay with family. And I remember my aunt, the same aunt in New York, sought to change my mind, and she sent me a brochure for Pace University, also in New York, because she thought that being a chef was not a good career choice. Suffice it to say that I stand before you today. I'm not a chef. Peter says I'm the closest to being a chef that he knows without actually being a chef. And I think that I am really good at what I do and that I could be a good chef. And I gotta say that if I had an opportunity, if somebody said to me, if there is something that you could do now, and we'll pay for it, and it would be, I would go to culinary school. In a heartbeat, I would go to culinary school. But after I left school, I went back to the UK, where I ended up doing business studies. And I have little regrets about my decision because I truly believe that nothing happens by chance. Everything that I have done in my life has prepared me for what I am doing today. And all that I have accomplished in the area of the development of culinary arts, and all the wonderful people, creative people that I have the pleasure of working with, I get to live vicariously through them. The reason that I know Peter Eady is 13 years ago I met him while I was coordinating the Barbados Culinary team as part of my role at the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association. And not long before I got involved in the process, the BHGA and chefs like Peter Eady and Graham Licorice and Lindell Williams, they were among the standard bearers of the association's work in the development of culinary arts in Barbados. Chef Eady is one of the culinary team's managers. He's a huge supporter of the team through providing his facilities for training purposes. We've trained here. When he was in Green Hill, we trained there. He mentors team members, employs them sometimes when they need employment, and lending equipment, and just generally being there. And I got the pleasure very often to sit and watch as he opened up the minds of the culinary team members during training, going through the basics of culinary cuisine as only a French-trained chef can. Going through knife skills, meat fabrication, fish fabrication, passing on knowledge of Caribbean cuisine to them, and exposing them to his friends throughout the world, much like what he's doing here with you. Master chefs who he invited to Barbados to share the knowledge of international cuisine. And I really hope that you see the pattern here. Just in case you don't, I will spell it out for you. Chef Eady moved from training the national culinary team to creating his own television shows, showcasing chefs and young aspiring culinary artists. Out of his drooling chef shows, because he used to do drooling chefs for adult chefs, and a lot of our culinary team members participated, but out of that came the local junior drooling challenge for local secondary school students. And later that became the Caribbean Junior Drooling Chef Challenge, which is now the Caribbean Junior Culinary Conference, which is what we're at today. What is significant about this is how his efforts have helped to elevate career choices in the culinary arts from the position of last resort to first option. When I joined the Barbados Hotel and Tourism Association, you know that's like over 13 years ago, because I said I met Peter 13 years ago. Being a cook or a career in culinary arts, being a chef, being a bartender, was still not considered something to aspire to. It was a thing that you did if you didn't get enough certificates to go into college or university. In the Caribbean, we seem to miss the fact that internationally there were chefs and bartenders that saw what they were doing as a career, a professional career, a course of study that they pursued before and actually while they were working in the industry. Many of these career chefs then came to the Caribbean as expat chefs, running our restaurant kitchens, and sometimes insisting that we abandon our ingrained cultural heritage and produce cuisine that was internationally accepted. After all, visitors don't want local food, right? They want what they eat every day at home when they come to the Caribbean. That was the sentiment. So while we were revering all these expat chefs who were controlling the food experience of our visitors to our island, our local culinary talent was working their way up through the ranks in the kitchen and at the bar. But unfortunately, very few of them were able to break that glass ceiling that separated them and expat professionals, people who saw this as a professional career and would go and study for it and position themselves through a career path that gives them the right to be the executive chef or the head chef in our kitchens. But even those of our local chefs who understood the need to leave our shores and pursue classic culinary training in hopes that when they returned, they would be seen as equal, returned and met the same apathy from prospective employers. So with the absence of any viable local role models excelling in the culinary arts, it is little wonder that our students, in making career decisions, had no concept of a culinary career on their radar. And if by chance they did, because they love cooking, their parents would generally squash that idea and try to steer them away in another direction, which meant studying law, business, or medicine. So students who went to culinary schools or went into culinary arts were normally the students that weren't smart enough. And I say smart enough, or did not get any certificates. So they got a job in the kitchen or they got a job in a bar, and they worked their way up to the point where the glass ceiling was still stopping them. And to a certain extent, this still exists. And if you doubt me, ask yourself why the University of West Indies, and I might get into trouble for this, but we have to say it. But ask yourself why the University of the West Indies still does not have a school of culinary arts. At the time when I joined the BHTA, my then executive director kept saying that we needed to attract the best and the brightest minds to the tourism industry because tourism is our business. For me, I wanted to take that a step further. I figured we already had amazing talent in the industry, but we needed to build it up. We needed to ensure that when visitors come to our shores, they're able to taste our culture through our cuisine. And I noted with interest that that is a tagline for this conference. And for me, that meant developing our existing talent and working to change the perception of the industry to attract new talent so that we could achieve sustainability. So we decided to use the Culinary Team program to do that. And I had wonderful people like Peter to work with. This year, I accompanied my 12th team into competition in Miami. During that time, I have also seen a reduction locally of expat chefs in Barbados, and a significant increase in the rise of local chefs to the position of expat chef, to the position of executive chef, head chef, executive sous, head pastry chef. And it gives me considerable joy. I remember one year I was sitting, we call our carnival Kadooment. And I was sitting in the stadium. The guys had just come back from Puerto Rico, and we had won Team of the Year and Chef of the Year, and we were like winning everything. And I'm sitting there, and I saw this Kadooment band getting ready to come across the stage, and I saw flowing white fabric, and they had accents of gold in it, and I wasn't paying attention. Then as they came across the stage and the announcer announced that this section of the band was acknowledging or celebrating their golden chefs. And they called each of those team members' names out. They didn't call my name, nobody knows me. But they called their names out, and I got teary because, you know, you put so much work into these people, and they achieve so much. And not only did they achieve so much, but they were recognized locally by people that never recognized them before. And I watched as the newspapers splashed headlines of Barbados Culinary Team winning gold medals. Time and time again, when we go away, the media is there. When we come back, the media is there. This year, the media went with us. And what we were able to do, and you know, I credit people like Peter and Max Benz. I don't know where Max went, Graham Licorice, because with us and all of the employers that allowed us to mold their people, we succeeded in breaking that glass ceiling. You know, we succeeded in making sure that people started now to respect culinary arts as a profession. And I really want to acknowledge Peter of that, and I want you to, I'm saying this is like a eulogy for Peter, but I want you to understand why you're here today and all the work that went through to get you here and to get this to happen, and the work that Peter continues to do to make it happen, and I want you to appreciate that. Today we get to watch some of the best and brightest young people from across the Caribbean compete and attend this conference. That's you. This event continues to grow, and I know that there's some regional teams that would have liked to be here today, but couldn't afford the expense of getting here. And I want to mention this because this conference has the potential to grow. Mr. Greenidge said this earlier. This, and Peter said it, this is the only culinary youth conference in the Caribbean. And so it has the potential to grow, but it needs the support. And it has the potential to grow into being one of the most significant teams for achieving growth and sustainability for our local tourism industry. So I feel it should receive support and attention, not only from sponsors, and sponsors are very important because sponsors pay the bills, but also from decision makers in the industry. Culinary tourism continues to be the fastest growing niche internationally, with more people traveling for food and beverage experiences than ever before. And the whole last part of my speech is gone, but I'll ad-lib. But culinary tourism continues to be the thing that people travel for. We have visitors that come to Barbados, and when you do the exit survey, you ask them what is the thing they spent most money on, and it's always food. Because you could come here and you could sleep anywhere, but you got to eat. You don't even have to sleep. There's some people come for crop over and just like go through the whole weekend, get on the plane and go back. But you have to eat and you have to drink. And therefore, it's important that we put all of our energy into the people that are driving that initiative. I have Remy from Ratatouille. Have any of you watched this? I love that movie, and I make it required watching for my culinary team. And if I do any culinary training with anybody, I do this. And I do that because Remy has so many lessons, but the biggest lesson is that about passion. Now, I know that some of you that are doing this today are not going to be chefs. Some of you are not going to be in the culinary industry at all. But what you are learning today from this conference and going through this process helps you to be a stronger individual and a better human being. And I want to encourage you to make sure that you take everything that you learned today and incorporate it in how you grow as a person. Because things like determination and passion and just standing up against all the odds, like Remy was a rat that rose to be the most celebrated chef in all of Paris, a rat. He's a rat who walked on his hind legs and never let his front paws, which he called hands, touch the floor. His family thought he was crazy. He was only good for sniffing out whether there was poison on any of the things that they were eating. But his parents really were just so ashamed of him. But Remy was passionate. When Remy saw ingredients, he could actually see the end product. And the thing that makes culinary team members successful, or the thing that makes you successful in whatever career you choose, is two things. One, liking what you're doing and being passionate about it. Because in life, there's so many people and other things that distract you from what your goals and objectives are. And if you are not passionate about anything or about what it is that you're doing, it is really hard to succeed because it doesn't become a labor of love. It really is just a job. And you don't want to spend all of your day. Just imagine you spend 8 or more hours, 8 to 12 hours a day at a job, 8 to 12 hours of your life for at least 30 to 40 years doing something that you hate doing. Who wants to do that? The people that got you here went through a whole lot to raise the funds to get you here because they're passionate about you. The reason that you're here, some of you are here, I meet chefs, like come to a culinary team. They came through, they won the competition, and the thing that they want to do is go to Miami or go to Puerto Rico or whatever. That's their objective. And then you notice that they fall by the wayside because you know that this is not something that is for them. They were just doing it for the prize. And some of you are here like that. You wanted to do this. You might not necessarily want to be a chef. But the thing is that you did what you had to do to get to this point. So you were focused and determined, and you're here. And that same focus and determination needs to take you through to the end. And that same focus and determination is the thing that should take you through your life. That passion. Peter has a passion. Remember he said he lost everything? I saw it. He was like rock bottom. But he was passionate, he's still passionate about everything that he does. And he gets up when you fall. That's what passion does. If you are passionate about something, you might stumble, but then you get up and you keep going. Usain Bolt, everybody knows Usain Bolt. He met a lot of opposition in his way. There are people that thought he couldn't do it. There are people that did not want to support him. He recently said that the people that did not support you when you were on your rise now want to tell people how they met you when. And he's true. But it doesn't matter because all of that is part of who builds you and makes you who you are. And none of what I'm saying is what I wanted to say to you. But it's what I'm saying to you now. I remember doing one year when the culinary team was training at a hotel named Savannah, there was a young porter who had just joined. And I used to see him, in the corner, like around the corner looking. And I called him. I said, come. He said, no, okay. I said, no, you come. Anytime you want to, you could just come and train and look at what the team is doing. And I knew that he showed an interest. And when we were finished training there, I said to him, one of these days I want to see you on this team. And he laughed. Well, he was passionate about it. And he got one of our culinary team members to mentor him and train him. And 2 to 3 years later, he entered the local culinary competition. And in our local culinary competition, you have people that are there for the first time, but you also have team members who have to fight their way back on the team. So this young person who was a porter and was now a commis chef at the time, a commis one, at the time that he was coming in to competition, he was competing against people that have been on the culinary team for years. And he won that competition, and by lots of points. And he joined the culinary team. And he was so grateful and happy for the opportunity that afforded him. And he worked hard and did his best. Today, he is one of the fastest rising chefs that I know. Today, he heads the kitchen in one of our fine dining restaurants. And this is in less than a 6-year span. He has risen through the ranks so quickly. And he's still a member of the culinary team, and a very decorated member of the culinary team in terms of the medals that he has won. He's a culinary ambassador for Barbados. He has done promotion. He's worked with our tourism promotion company, Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc., in promotions overseas at food festivals, etc. He recently developed a line of spices, which he sells. And also recently, he started a catering company. And this was a porter in a restaurant kitchen. But he had a dream and he had a goal, and he is so passionate about food. And I think that if I can leave you with anything today, is passion. In what we do with the culinary team, sometimes you meet opposition. Sometimes you have difficult people to deal with, but pulling a group of individuals together in a team is difficult because everybody has their own style, but pulling them together is difficult. And sometimes you have square pegs in wrong holes, and you have to deal with emotions, but that's life. And you cannot get frustrated because you have to be like, there's a reason that a horse rides with blinkers, because he can't see left or right. He's just seeing in front of him. And it's important because he's not distracted. And you have to go through life with blinkers. Don't get distracted with friends, with clothes. Figure out what it is that you want to do. And if it is culinary arts, become a professional in that. Don't just do it half-hearted. Do it right. Get qualifications, get certifications, and work your way up. If you need to go overseas to do that, do that. If you need to get the student loan to make sure that you have the edge, because there are tons of people in this field, you do that. I want to encourage you to be passionate about whatever it is you choose to do. But in the immediate future, I want to encourage you to be passionate about what you are doing today and for the rest of this week. And that is being a part of this competition, so that when other young people see you, the same way that when young people saw our culinary team, they were inspired. When you see your respective culinary teams in your country, I'm sure that inspires you. When people saw what Peter was doing on television, that inspired them. And while you are going through this process today, remember that you are an inspiration for somebody else that you will probably never meet. So I want to encourage you to enjoy this session and to take in all that you can. And I don't know where the other part of my speech is, but at the end, I'm going to shut up now. So enjoy the rest of your day. Enjoy the conference. Take as much as you can from it. And know also that you are also pioneers, because this event is going to blow up. And you, years from now, some younger people will be looking at you and you'll be old. And they'll be seeing the people that were part of this embryonic process. So thank you, and Peter, thank you again, and congratulations to everybody that's here, and congratulations, Peter, to your team for pulling this all together. Thank you.
Following our presentation, our teams received their competition kits from chefs Manfred Schmidtke, Anton Doos, and Jeff Rotes. Join us next time when we take a look at some of our workshops and demonstrations. See you then. Cjcc Media, the place for your culinary satisfaction.